We can't tell you who we are, or where we live. It's too risky, and we've got to be careful. Really careful. So we don't trust anyone. Because if they find us, well, we just won't let them find us. The thing you've got to know is that everyone is in really big trouble. Yeah. Even Finding Monster Right, the show about finding monsters, right?
Right. I'm Adam.
I am Allie.
And we are traveling to the depths of 1996 to 2001.
Yep.
At the Scholastic Book Fair.
and beyond 2001, I want to say. Because, I definitely found these books, later, after their initial run. Because we're talking Animorphs, and specifically, we're not just talking Animorphs. We're talking about making out like Andalite bandits, using Animorph powers for fun and profit.
Yeah, they are Animorphs. They are animal morphers.
Yes.
Do I have it right? Did I get it?
Yeah. I mean, that is what it is. That's why it is. So, the Animorphs are a group of 6 radical 90s teens who can turn into animals. And it goes deeper than that. So, Adam.
Yes.
What do you know about Animorphs? Because I'm the fangirl here.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Adam. You're not the fangirl.
No, I'm not nearly as versed in these transforming buddies as you are. Most of what I know is from Wikipedia, and things that you've told me over the past 20 years.
As I keep trying to get you to read one of these books.
Yeah, I think the entry point's too large. I think I've rented Animorphs books from the libraries because, or at least kids in my class did. I don't know if everyone read them. I think everyone just loved the covers. The covers are like the big selling point. That's what gets you picked the pig off the shelf, because it depicts a holographic a child turning into, slowly over several frames, an animal.
It's not really holographic so much as the background is just some terrifying multicolored cloud. Sometimes they're holographic, like the Megamorphs releases might be.
Yeah, but the title and the artwork is what made everyone say, "Whoa, Animorphs!" And maybe that was the age that I was at when these books were around.
Yeah.
But there's it centers on a bunch of humans and an alien, and they fight aliens. It's like a Saturday morning cartoon, but in book installments.
Yeah. So, Adam, let me walk you through this. You are maybe 13 years old.
Okay.
Pretty fucked up, right?
Let me use my 13-year-old voice. Oh boy.
That was pretty good. I really believe it. So, you're 13 years old, and you and your friends are just walking home from school. And maybe it's night for some reason. I forget why it's night. I think they were all at school late in like a weird kind of breakfast club situation.
Okay. They were cleaning up the from the food fight they got to earlier in the story.
Yeah. You walk past an abandoned construction site, and something crashes into it. You go in, and you see a dying Andalite.
Oh.
An Andalite is a creature that is, like a centaur, but it has stalk eyes and regular eyes, so 4 total eyes, no mouth, bright blue, and a long scorpion-like tail with a blade on the end. And
I would probably say something to the tune of, "This is the weirdest wrecking ball I've ever seen.
Please, you must help me, young heroes."
What's this guy's problem?
So, this is Elfangor, Prince Elfangor, and he is an Andalite, and he explains that his spaceship crashed. He was fighting the Yeerks, which are a race of aliens that look a lot like slugs. And what they do is they crawl into your ear and they make you a controller.
Mm. They get stuck in there like a Phineas and Ferb song.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have access to all of your memories, and you are reduced to a voice screaming in the back of your own head.
Do they have access to memories that I don't remember?
Probably.
Like, if I lost my keys, would they know where my keys are?
Yeah, I think so, because, like, you're kind of just reads your memories like a book, is how it's described.
Okay. And I guess I take it they're fast readers.
Yeah, so somebody's going to be part of the voluntary Yerk movement.
Well, if I lose my keys and a Yerk shows up.
Actually, I don't think that's a movement. I think that's, hey, that's actually interesting. I think maybe in a moment of crisis, like, of being, submitted to your control, of being infested, you might, like, suddenly remember where your keys are as the Yerk is going in there, and you'll be like, god damn it.
Okay, understood. And they're easy to take out, right? Like, once you're done with them, they can just slip them right out?
No, they're stuck in there.
Oh.
They are in charge there. There's a weakness that they have, and that is that they need to leave their host every 3 days and feed on Kandrona rays, which, for the Earthbound Yerks, takes the form of a generator inside an artificial Yerk pool. Yes, I said Earthbound Yerks. Yes, they're already here. Yes, like half of everybody you know is one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that I did not know that they were that present.
Okay, maybe it's not half. Maybe it's a little less than that, but it's like, I would struggle to say it's less than 25% of all of the characters in this random Californian town.
Is it like is it kind of like a Westworld situation where, like, as the show progresses, they're just like, oh yeah, that person was controlled by a Yerk, and that person was controlled by a Yerk? As they need more and more twists?
I don't know. I think they kind of... No, I don't think they rely on that twist terribly often.
So how do you fight someone with a Yerk inside of them?
Let me show you. And he pulls out a shining blue cube. Put your hand on the cube. Adam, just put your hand on the cube. Adam, come on, put your hand on the cube. Yeah, man, put your hand on the cube. Be cool.
All right.
He's dying. Put your hand on the cube, Adam.
If my 5 other friends, like, each put a hand on another piece of the cube, I would put my hand on the cube.
All right, great.
Because if I lost my friends, like, I'm like, oh, well, this makes sense.
So, you gain the power to morph. Congratulations.
Okay. It occurs to me in a way that Animorphs has never occurred to me before, but if there was a Venn diagram between Animorphs and Power Rangers, what percentage of overlap would there be?
Animorphs is kind of like a deconstructive parody of Power Rangers, I would want to say.
Oh, okay. Good.
It's extremely very much a dark take on the, like, get dressed, go to school, save the world kind of genre from the 90s, like with Power Rangers and with Buffy and, like, the teen superhero thing that maybe Spider-Man invented, I want to say.
Yeah, so you take that angle and then they go darker with it.
Extremely dark, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I see there's a list on Wikipedia of topics that are covered in these. That include horror, war, dehumanization, sanity. It's just, they get all dirty. Morality, innocence, leadership, freedom, family, and growing up.
I don't think there's a lot about growing up in there, I'll be honest. That's a little too crazy.
I think growing up is in every story, right?
I mean, every story where time is linear, yes. So there's no time for linear time, because guess who's showing up? It's another spaceship. Oops.
Okay. So wait, hang on. Can I guess? Are there, like, I can't say anti. Are they anti-morphs? They're gonna like land and the alien's gonna give powers to, like, the 6 bully kids?
No, but not entirely no.
Okay.
I mean, definitely not anything like that, but, like, it's not totally wrong, because who steps out but another Andalite? This is an Andalite named Alaron Semator Koras. I I don't know Elfangor's full name, but Andalites have 3 names with a hyphen in the middle. And this Andalite is the only Andalite controller ever taken. The Yeerk known as Esplin 9466, otherwise known as Visser 3. Third highest ranking member of the Yeerk military, which itself is below only the Council of 13.
Oh, is Visser 3 like a translation? Or do they also have numbers? I guess if they have spaceships, they have math and they have numbers.
My love, my darling, I hunger for Andalites! Because he's gonna, he then, take some time to Saturday morning cartoon gloat over Elfangor's defeat and turn into a huge, 20-foot tall alien monster with 1 million mouths and eat Elfangor alive.
Oh, that's not good.
And the kids can all hear Elfangor's screams because he's broadcasting them mentally, because the Andalites communicate telepathically, because no mouths. They can hear his screams as he's being eaten and torn apart and digested. The dying screams of a warrior fill their hearts, and that is the beginning of their military career.
Damn. But fortunately, this is happening on a construction site, so they use their power and friendship to drop various 2x4s and steel beams on Visser 3 and kill him instantly, right?
No, they fucking barely get away. They run.
Oh, right. This is the beginning of the story.
Yes, and you know who else is... You know who's there, because it's not just Visser 3, it's also some of his troops.
Okay.
So, in Visser 3's camaraderie are 2 more kinds of aliens. There's really only 4 kinds of aliens that you gotta know about for Animorphs. There's more, like the Elamist and Krayak and stuff, but the 2 aliens that are Yeerk shock troops that are already mostly infested that the Animorphs fight are the Taxons and the Hork-Bajir.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Taxons are these big centipede worm things that are sentient, but consumed mentally entirely by a crushing amount of hunger. They're insectile, and they are always hungry, and they actually willfully submitted to the Yeerks in the hopes of, maybe you can control us. Maybe you can help save us from ourselves. And the Yeerks totally took them over, and it turns out they really can't. They're still always hungry. And I think some of them pick apart some of the leftovers of Elfangor, actually.
Okay. So they're kind of like some generals in this war. There's some shock troops.
Well, they're kind of I would say they're kind of the rank and file. You don't want a Taxon host as a Yeerk.
Oh, I guess I see what you're saying. Yeah, they're more of a... are they like the random bombs that you drop?
Yeah.
They're like, we're done here. Drop one of those in, and we're all set.
I think about so, yeah. They're kind of I'm struggling to think of it, because I think, when you're a Yeerk, when you're a little baby Yeerk.
You're a Yeerk all the way.
From the first time your 3 parents get together and morph together and then explode. That's how Yeerks reproduce.
Oh.
I think the first thing you get is a Ged, which is just some weird asymmetrical monkey thing from the Yeerk homeworld. And it's not great.
Well, get out of the homeworld.
The thing is, the Andalites, an Andalite called Ciro, actually landed on the Yeerk homeworld, saw these sentient slugs that only could possess, Geds. The Geds were ill-suited to technological development, and Ciro was like, these guys could be so much more. And so he gave them Andalite technology for weapons and for spaceships, because the Andalites are a very militaristic race.
And so it's kind of all his fault.
It's kind of all his fault, which is why Elfangor giving the morphing technology to the Animorphs is a violation of Ciro's kindness, which is the name of that law.
Mm-hmm.
So Visser 3 is the only Yeerk that can morph.
Got it.
And good, because if a Hork-Bajir could morph, everything would be fucked. A Hork-Bajir is like a 7-foot-tall dinosaur man who's covered in knives.
Ooh.
Now that's the shock troop.
Got it.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention somebody else who's another species that's there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, humans. Some human controllers.
Okay.
Now, Adam, you just got back from school, and your friend Jake is there. And Jake is upset because he just tried out for the basketball team, and he didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's upset because his brother Tom was so big into basketball. And, won't Tom be upset when he finds out that Jake didn't make the team? Tom's a fucking controller.
Oh, shit.
Vice Principal Chapman from the high school is a fucking controller.
This is what I was talking about. Yeah, these reveals of characters, but it's all early on. It's what it sounds like.
It's pretty early on, yeah.
Yeah, so that's cool. It's like, oh man, Susie dumped me, and Susie's a controller.
So, the Animorphs go on a couple missions and stuff, and
what do their missions consist of?
Usually, raids on the Yeerk pool. The Yeerks have a secret base where they have a pool where they have a Kandrona generator, and they have, they keep some of the humans in cages while their Yeerks are feeding. But some of the humans get to just, hang out in the lounge, and those are the voluntary controllers. And it's, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I guess the Hork-Bajir all go into a cage. The Hork-Bajir are a very peaceful, herbivorous species that use their knives to carve bark off of trees.
Oh, that's not... Well, in a way that harms the trees?
Not particularly.
Okay, like an art style?
Yeah, they look like a bunch of crazy, death machines, but they're actually, to eat the bark.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, they feed on the bark of the trees of their homeworlds.
Alright, so they're like herbivores.
I mean, the Andalites kinda, sorta used a quantum virus to torturously destroy most of the Hork-Bajir. Once the Yeerks took control of the homeworlds, and, we can't let them get a bajillion Hork-Bajir, so we're just gonna torch it.
Okay, I think I understand the different parties at play here.
Yeah. So, the Animorph powers.
Yeah. Can they turn into any animal whatsoever?
They gotta acquire it.
Acquire, catch it like in Pokemon?
A little, yeah. Well, what you need to do is you need to go up to an animal and just focus on it for a minute or so. It'll be calmed by the morphing process, and then its DNA becomes a part of you.
Okay, so they attune to it.
Yeah, a little...
It has to be a creature that they see?
It has to be a creature that they can touch. Physical contact is necessary.
Okay, so it can't be like a tardigrade.
No, not unless you were aware of the tardigrade and were focusing on it. Sometimes it's a little, psychic like that.
Okay.
I think the first animals that they morph are Tobias morphs his cat and Jake morphs his dog. And then, by, book 3, they're breaking into the zoo and shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'd be surprised if it took any more than 4 books to get to the zoo.
Yeah, no. Cassie, let's talk about the Animorphs themselves.
Okay.
So, the Animorphs are Jake. Jake is, the leader of the bunch.
Is he the cool kid?
He's pretty cool.
Okay.
But his arc is all about, authority and the nature of command and what it does to a 13-year-old's brain.
Okay, all that Red Ranger stuff.
Yeah. Very Red Ranger. Next we have Jake's cousin Rachel, who is a blood psychopath.
Oh, wait, hang on, what?
Rachel is a very pretty, she's kind of Buffy-ish in that she's a pretty conventionally beautiful blonde girl, but she's also just 100% ready to tear off heads.
Okay.
Book 1, she's yeah, I'll tear off somebody's head as a grizzly bear. I don't even care. I'm down.
Okay, I see that dimorph, that side by side right there.
And then there is, which, let me tell you, as someone with a cousin named Rachel, I was very disappointed in her lack of blood rage. Tell your sister I'm mad that she's not a blood psychopath.
I will tell her that. So, but go on.
There's Rachel's boyfriend, Tobias. Eventual boyfriend. There's a bit of a romance arc.
I've heard things about Tobias and his story.
Yeah, Tobias got stuck as a hawk.
Yes, that's part of the powers, right? You can't stay an animal for too long.
Yeah, more than 2 hours. Which Tobias, in book 1, at the end of book 1, he just, like, they think that Tobias dies in their first mission, which was a complete failure. They think that he dies, and then, like, a hawk flies up to Jake's house the next day, like, hey, I guess this is me now.
How many books is he a hawk?
53? All of them.
Wait. One of the Animorphs is always a hawk.
Eventually, he does get the morphing power back through some, like, god shenanigans, but his default form is still a hawk.
Yeah, I would have expected those shenanigans at, like, the end of season 1.
A lot of Tobias's arc and, like, his kind of internal turmoil, birdmoil, if you will. He questions, his life was shit.
Yeah.
Before becoming an Animorph. Like, he was bullied at school. He was like a not hit his growth spurt sort of kid, yet he was getting beat up, and he had a shitty home life that was, like, thrown from foster home to foster home, because secretly he's an alien kid. And, like, secretly he's Elfingor's son through, like, some weird, insane time travel shit. Like, text from Bernie.
Welcome. I'm announcing my new Animorph powers to the world.
Oh, that'd be great, because he can morph into someone younger.
I assume humans don't count as animals that you can Animorph into, right?
Oh, they totally do.
Wait, you can just look at someone for a minute and then become them?
Touch someone. But yes.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah. They have DNA. There's no way to counteract to that.
Well, yeah, after 2 hours, you could just be someone else.
Uh-huh. Imagine my brain, Adam. Imagine me knowing that this was possible, walking past construction sites, waiting for someone to give me a blue box so I could fucking morph into someone hot, Adam.
Or Jeff Bezos.
Well, I don't think it's worth it.
You don't think all the money in the world's worth it?
No. I would just find just 4 or 5 like insanely hot women and just turn into a combination of them.
Oh, can you combine different animals?
It only happens the one time, or like maybe twice. But when they rescue the 6th Animorph, Aximili Iskarouth Ishtil, from the bottom of the sea by turning into dolphins on their dolphin mission in, like, book 4. But
wait. So they introduced another Animorph at, like, the 6% part of the series.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 things in. But Axe is an Andalite. Axe is Elfingor's younger brother.
It's a very unfortunate family tree.
Well, the funny thing is, Elfingor morphed into a human for more than 2 hours because he fell in love with a human, but there was, like, a time travel adventure, and, like, God became involved, the Elemist, who is just, like, this, like, ultra powerful, Q from Star Trek, like, godlike alien, who is also the one who gave Tobias back his morphing powers. Mm-hmm. Like, it gets mythological, and it gets a little squirrely at some points, even when they don't turn into squirrels. So, Axe is a goddamn delight. I was thinking about sending you a link to, like, the full text of one of these books, and it would have to be one of the books that Axe narrates, because, like...
It's all first person, correct?
Yeah, like, whenever the Animorphs turn into an animal, they feel, like, the instincts and the nature of the beast.
In the air tonight.
Hold on. Not when that drum solo happens. But... So, when Axe morphs into a human, which he does by morphing, he just, like, touches the other 5 Animorphs, or the other 4 Animorphs at that point. And he, like, makes a combination of them. And he becomes like a little human boy sometimes, when he needs to, like, stealth on Earth, because otherwise he's an Andalite.
Yeah, okay, this is sounding very Saturday morning cartoon.
He has a mouth as a human, of course, and Andalites don't have mouths.
Makes sense.
So he relishes two things, which are taste and speaking. Speaking. Speaking.
Yeah, he's got a lot of fun with that stuff.
Yeah. And also, if you give him a cinnamon bun, he will fucking lose his goddamn entire fucking mind.
I mean, if I just got a mouth, I would also lose my mind at that.
Oh, and then there's Cassie, who is Jake's love interest, who kind of has who, like, is super into animals, loves animals, super nice person. Morphing comes very naturally to her. She's an estrine, so she can morph, like, really quick. I think she figures out clothes before any of the other Animorphs do.
Wait, morphing clothes?
Yeah, like, you know, like, it's
so,
harder.
Like, you turn to a giraffe and you morph a tie on yourself?
No. Like, if you morph into, like, a cat, like, and it's your first morph, like, your clothes fall away because, you know, the clothes aren't a part of you. But if you're, like, if you get pretty good at morphing, then you can kind of get the clothes in. Like, it starts with, like, skin-tight leotards, and then eventually, like, I'm pretty sure, like, by the end of the series, like, years and years after they start it, like, by the end of the series, I'm pretty sure Cassie can morph a sweater.
Okay. And then Marco looks like he's the last character, right?
Marco, the later canonized as bisexual character who is constantly traumatized by everything, like all of them are, except he deals with it with humor.
Okay, cool.
And I am nothing like Marco. I will have you know.
I feel like you've, similar to Axe, you have captured an aspect of every one of these characters.
I'm burdened by leadership like Jake. I am brooding like Tobias. I simply don't fit in like Axe. I cover everything with humor like Marco. I love animals like Cassie. And like Rachel, I am a beautiful blood knight. That's my baby. I can be all the Animorphs in one day.
All right, got it. I see the last power here is that when you're in morphing, you can telecommunicate with anyone nearby.
Yes, you can. You can, like an Andalite, you can telepathically communicate with each other.
Okay.
And with, you know, anyone, really. You can send... It's like the message cantrip in D&D, to use something you would understand.
Yeah, no, I understand. Like, I think in D&D games, like, because of the way telepathy works, we're just like, I think it makes more sense if everyone's just always hearing each other.
Yeah.
That's often the solution, and I get why in a kid's teamwork book, it makes sense that you can talk to everyone else, because otherwise you run into the druid problem in D&D, where you turn into an animal and you can't talk to nobody.
Right, and that's no fun.
It's hard because you're like, I want to be a snake for as long as possible because I only can do this twice per short rest. But after I didn't describe what I'm doing correctly, or in the best way possible, now everyone's just carrying around a snake and they don't know what to do.
So, war is one thing you could do with the Animorph powers.
Wage war?
Wage war, for sure. Wage war on the Yeerks. We didn't even talk about how Visser 3 is, like... Visser 3 is cool because... all he does is just go around to different planets, just acquiring, like, crazier and crazier giant alien monsters to absolutely wreck house. He is exactly what I would do with Animorph powers.
That was going to be my follow-up question. Does it have to be an animal? Or, I guess in D&D terms, does it have to be a beast, or can it be a different monstrosity from a different area? I think that answers that.
Anything with DNA. There's a Megamorphs thing, which is like a bigger book that has multiple narrators. Like they, take turns narrating, kind of, where they go back in time to dinosaur times. And at first you're like, oh man, how's this going to turn out? And then like Tobias just like falls out of a tree and like strikes down on a Deinonychus, and the Deinonychus is like trying to scratch at him, and then he starts acquiring it and it calms down, and he's like, DNA is DNA. And yes, they all turn into T-Rexes at one point, and it's the happiest I've ever been as a child or adult.
So you're telling me that Tobias can still Animorph?
Yes, Tobias can Animorph because of the Elemist thing. The alien god gave him back his powers.
So he's a hawk that Animorphs for most of the series?
Yeah, and he also acquired his past self, so he can, like, stealth as himself for only 2 hours, and it's like this sword of Damocles hanging over him, like, I could just morph human Tobias for 2 hours and just hang out for just 2 hours and completely fix my fucking life, but instead I'm gonna eat roadkill. And frankly, I applaud him, and he's right. He should just be a hawk.
Yeah. This would be so much better if we could just take to the skies.
Yeah. Oh man, they talk so much about how cool thermals are when you're flying.
Oh yeah?
Thermals are great.
Okay, cool. Well, let's get into the topic of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're about, halfway in here.
Oh god.
And talk about the kind of fun that you can have with your powers.
Yeah.
Can you turn into a tree?
It's not ever discussed one way or the other. I think the problem with that would be that you, as a tree, would not have a brain, and so eventually you would not be able to focus, and I think you would die partway through morphing into a tree.
Okay, I think I see that the flaw in that design.
Although turning into something without a brain, pretty good way to avoid the Yerks. The Yerks find this one alien species that has, like, its brain, like, separated into ganglia throughout its body like an insect, and, like, they can't infest it, so they just use it for target practice.
Oh, so what if the creature just has a ganglia, like a lobster?
Yerks couldn't infest it. But, can you morph a lobster? Yes.
Okay, so I think
Yes, that's your favorite, right? That's your favorite animal.
Yeah, lobster's is up there for me, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's a... Although there's not too many advantages of being a lobster.
Name one. You can't. Exactly. There's not too many.
Not too many.
You're tasty.
You get cool claws.
Those are pretty cool claws.
You can swim pretty well. Get some armor.
I will point out that I can feel the gears in your head turning. I'm here to tell you that they don't really ever morph a animal hybrid.
I think the reason why I like the lobster a lot is because of its, like, checklist of cool powers and kind of features. Unfortunately, those are very true for in, like, design concepts and big versions of the creature. A regular sized lobster isn't as cool.
You know what? I take that back. There is a book where, like, there's like a quote unquote morphing sickness or something, or I think Marco can't concentrate is the thing, and he does end up. Am I fucking up? Am I mixing this up with Ben fucking 10? But there's an episode where he's a book episode where he, like, starts getting, like, random bits of morphs mixing together, but, like, it's truly random. Like, it's nothing ever good. Like, there's not, like, the bit at the end where it turns into a really cool hybrid. It's all just, like, a trout, but with 2 gorilla arms. Like,
I don't know. That's pretty cool.
I mean, it is until it can't breathe.
Oh, yes. That is you're in trouble then.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I can't morph for a bit, guys.
Yeah, okay. I see the allure in that. What's some of the fun that you get into besides just finding the craziest aliens that you can in the universe?
Absolutely, I'm betraying the Animorphs to Visser 3. And
what?
I'm straight up. It's the first thing I'll do. I really hate to be the David, but yeah. Nah, I'm gonna tell Visser 3 everything. I want the Yerks to win. Fuck humanity. I'm done. I'm done trying to protect you. You can't protect yourselves. You can't wear a fucking mask. Fuck you. Fuck you. Yerks for everybody.
Okay, I think I see where that's...
Visser 3 is even more of a Blood Knight than Rachel, though. And...
Do you think he would...
Again, my 90s cartoon villain is showing.
Well, I'd like to say, do you think he would, like, honor you for doing that? Or would he be like, thanks, you are no longer useful to me?
Almost certainly the latter, but boy, what a way to go. I would absolutely adore to have my head cut off by an Andalite tailblade if that Andalite tailblade is attached to the enslaved corpse of Alaran Sematorkoras.
All right.
Yeah, I have a problem.
All right, so I'm thinking of all the cool animals that you could be.
Mm-hmm.
Do they often animorph into the same animal, or are they, like, all different?
Oh, like all at once?
No,
Like
not the.
everybody's a wolf or something.
In this one, their mission involves them having to become bugs. Do
Yeah.
they all turn into the same beetle, or is it like a bug's life, and they're their own little
Hmm.
circus troupe of different creatures?
At least once they have to absorb, like they have to get blood from this one politician so they can morph him, and they all turn into mosquitoes.
Okay.
And or one of them has to get blood, I guess. At least it would be weird if there was like five Bidens walking around. Hey, hear about these controllers? I think they do when they need to turn into bugs. They all turn into different bugs because they have like Jake is a peregrine falcon, and that's like his bird morph, and Axe is a harrier, and Tobias is just Tobias, and Rachel's a bald eagle. You know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. They have their own formation and stuff like that. How many plot lines do involve them getting captured in their animal forms and treated as animals, and they have to break out within 2 hours?
It's happened. More often, they get caught in morph, and the Yerks think that they are Andalites, because that's the cover story.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they're Andalites that survived the dome ship crashing, which is how, what Elfangor fell from. And in Axe's case, that's true.
That's why they're called Andalite Bandits, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, the Yerks think that it's Andalite Bandits, and, like, Visser 3 is unwilling to admit, like, no, they can't be humans. That'd be fucking stupid.
Yeah, well, why would they give their power to humans?
I'm Visser 3. I'm the greatest tactical mind of this fucking galaxy. He's not. He is...
He's at least the third.
Here's the thing. Visser 1 started the invasion of Earth, and she was all like, ooh, like, stealth, and, like, we're gonna be the sharing, and we're gonna, like, weasel our way into human society and infiltrate it from within. And if Visser 3 was in charge of the invasion of Earth, like, day 1, laser cannon the White House. Like... Visser 3 truly is a blunt instrument, and he gives no fucks. And he's in charge of the stealth mission, which is why 5 teenagers are able to do anything.
Tell me...
If anyone but him were in charge.
Well, tell me about Visser 2. Does Visser 2 show up at, like, the end of Season 1? And it's like, get out of here, it's my turn to shine.
Visser 2 is not really much of a character. I think he's off on some other planet doing something else.
Hmm. All right,
but
that's a little disappointing.
Visser 1. Do you want to know a twist about Visser 1?
Sure.
Visser 1's host is Marco's dead mom, who isn't dead.
So
one of your twists.
The twists don't involve characters secretly being Yerks. It involves characters secretly being a character's parents.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay,
but
I'm currently thinking of. Occasions wouldn't be fun to be an animal for like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's mostly to mess with people. It's mostly to pretend to be someone's like parent. And then like telepathically like tell them terrible secrets.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that's some... If you morph a human, can you use thought speak? I think not. I think that's something... That might be a Kasu. That might be a K.A. Applegate screws up moment. Like... Sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm in human morph, but it's a morph, so I can use thought speak. And sometimes it's like, no, humans don't thought speak. That's the point.
Okay, I see that. I guess, because in addition to everything else, you're also Mystique for 2 hours.
True.
You can just 2-hour Mystique all over the place.
Just give them the 2-hour Mystique.
Yeah, you never have to pay to get on an airplane.
It's true. You could just turn into a fly and then, like, demorph in the bathroom where there's a camera? Is there a camera in an airplane bathroom?
I was thinking more like you turn to a fly or something, you fly in, and then you see someone, then you turn into them and take their passport.
Okay, but in order to turn into them, you need to demorph to human.
Oh, you can't swap when you're in an animal shape.
Yes, okay, important to note. You cannot acquire a morph. You cannot acquire an animal in morph, and you cannot go from morph to morph.
Okay, that is, not even Cassie obtains that power, despite all her skills.
No, she can just do it quicker and more fluidly. Like, it's, like, horrifying, like, the fly transformations for, like your pain receptors turn off when you start morphing, and good, because, like, your fucking arm is shattering and reforming a million times over
gross.
as it turns into a dog leg.
Yeah, well, it would have to.
Marco gets so stressed out in one book that, like, he almost, like, he's in Flea Morph, and he almost gets stuck, like, halfway back to Marco.
Oh, God.
And, like, 2 hours passes, but because the limit isn't actually 2 hours, it's just, like, some Andalite amount of time that is roughly 2 Earth hours. He can, like, Cassie can, like, talk him through it, and, like, he fully demorphs, but he is just, like, shattered. And I think this is when they have their, like, their Sixth Ranger trader David on the team.
Okay, so David comes on for a bit, then stabs him in the back.
David comes on for, like, 3 books and stabs them in the back, and eventually they trap him in the body of a rat and let him loose on an island full of rats, and as the ships full of people go by, they can hear screaming in their heads, and they don't know what it's for.
Oh,
also,
God, that's frightening.
Also, Rachel and Axe need to, like, David full on, like, he does what I would do. He kills people as an Animorph, and, like, he starts doing things for fun and profit. And so they trick him into turning into a rat, because they're going to give him the morphing cube, they say.
They Puss in Boots him, is what they do.
They Puss in Boots him is what they do. They trap him in a little cage where if he demorphed, he would cut himself apart before he reached full human size. And so he's in that cage for 2 hours, screaming as Rachel and Axe watch, screaming at them to let him out. Please, please, please. Like,
yeah, that's awful.
They have to listen, because you can't block your ears. You can't shut off thought speak, and they have to watch him to make sure that he doesn't sneak out.
Well, that's a very sad. So I guess the only thing that you can do then is just fight crime.
Oh, you know what's one good thing you could do? For sure.
Oh, what's that?
Morphing relies on your DNA. So, like, if you morphed a dog, like, the dog morph would not be neutered.
Oh.
If you morphed a snake, like a pet snake that had its venom glands taken out, the surgery didn't happen to the morph, you see, because it's based on your genetics. So if you
get a bad tattoo.
If you get a bad tattoo, I guess so. Huh. Well, after it heals, I think it's on there. Maybe. None of the kids have tattoos, shockingly. But, like, if you're an amputee and you, like, morph something and then morph back, your hand is back.
All right.
Because your DNA doesn't say, amputee.
Oh, so the healing factor. We haven't mentioned that. That I think is what you're describing, right?
Yeah, there's a healing factor, which is why, it's so easy for the Animorphs to get cut the fuck up in these things. Like, take a grizzly bear taking a Hork-Bajir blade to the chest.
Ugh.
Which, like, Rachel's battle morph is the grizzly bear. So, like, I think she's the only one with, like, 2 or 3 battle morphs. Sometimes she's a grizzly bear, and sometimes when she really has to fuck shit up, she's an elephant.
When you say battle morph, you mean there's, like, a go-to shape that they have for fighting?
Yeah, like Jake's a tiger, Marco is a gorilla, Tobias is Tobias, Axe is Axe, and Cassie's a wolf.
Which makes sense, if you ask me, because you ask any druid, or I guess beast boy, I guess, you're like, you mostly turn to the same, like, 3 monsters.
Yeah, eventually you get, like, a wheelhouse.
Yeah, your go-tos when it comes to turning to big, scary, messing things up animals. So I'm not going to ask, because I think it's very obvious that the Animorphs need therapy.
I don't think any therapist on Earth or otherwise could help them at this point.
Oh, so should they just be therapy animals then?
Oh, you know what? I think the thing is they can be both.
Actually, there might be our first, like, cross-category on this one.
No turning back, no backing down. I can wear a vest and get into any grocery market. Can you morph a service dog? Yes. But you need to get your own little vest.
So I think honestly, the D&D connections are making me really understand it, because I'm like, oh yeah, healing factor. So you just turn back into a human, then you turn back into an animal. I'm like, oh no, you need like a charge time. You need like a minute to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't, like, it takes maybe a minute or so to morph. I think.
What do you on Earth call 1 minute?
Yes, we have approximately 38 of your Earth minutes left. Axe, they're everybody's minutes. We now have 37 of your Earth minutes left.
think I'm understanding the potential and the like all the things that you can do as an Animorph.
Yeah.
The last half of your premise is fun and profit.
Oh, yes.
How to turn a dime as an Animorph.
Yeah, which, Marco's clearly got some ideas that he pitches throughout the thing. Like, guys, let's all quit and become reality TV stars.
Which, yeah, I guess fame is the immediately best move you can ever do.
Mm.
I guess if you still have to keep your regular identity, you could become animal control.
Ooh.
Like you take turns. Like one person's like, "Oh no, there's a bear loose. Don't worry, I got him."
You have to get close enough as a human to the bear.
I guess you start as a bear, and then you get moved to a location, then released secretly.
Oh, you're just Loki into, like, an attractive lady bear?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, like, you go to the zoo, and you're like, okay, I'm going to turn into a zebra, and quick go into the back of this truck. Marco is going to drive me into town. I'm going to run around loose, and he's going to capture me.
Okay.
So, I guess what I'm saying is, like, very corrupt Ghostbusters.
Oh, I see. That's...
Yeah, it's like you release the ghost, then you catch the ghost. What a scheme.
But where'd the zebra come from?
The zoo.
But where do they think the zebra came from?
That's a... I didn't think it on through.
No, you didn't. Like, Marco's got to fill out some paperwork because I guess in this situation he is employed by the city as animal control?
Yeah, he every animal he catches he gets some money for.
I don't think that's how animal control works, I'll be honest. I don't think you get a pay bump for catching, like, bigger and crazier animals.
Okay, same idea. Animal control, you gotta call. They're like, there's a raccoon loose. Don't worry, man, we're on the case. Drive to the house. See the raccoon. Morph. One person morphs with the raccoon. And then the other one captures the morphed friend and takes him home. Infinite money glitch.
Okay. That's an idea.
Because then they're like, help, the raccoon, there's a new raccoon here. But it's the same one from original.
How would they know that it's a new raccoon?
Are you saying that they might just think that you didn't catch a raccoon?
Yeah.
You know what? That's
I'm really poking holes. Here's an idea.
Okay,
go to the zoo.
Yeah.
Morph like, a male of an endangered species. Go around to the back, like where they have like the conservation, centers and stuff, and just like jizz into a cup for them. And then, like, that way, it doesn't matter if, like, we can't get, this elephant or this panda to jizz into a cup for us. Hey, no worries, I have a way to have a genetically identical animal jizz into a cup for you.
I guess that's the case. If you're cool with just, fathering various animals across the globe.
I didn't think of that. That's so weird. Oh no, I didn't think this through.
These are my 2 children and my many animal children.
How do people that, like, donate sperm in real life do it?
That's why they give you so much money. They're like, here, you have to live with the guilt.
Oh, could you just do this as a person? Could you just morph a male guy? Like,
yeah, you just have a sperm donor, a persona.
Ooh, wait a minute. Morph and Andalite get into weird porn.
Yeah.
Or as I call it, normal porn.
I keep forgetting that you can turn into a person. You can just commit crimes.
Oh yeah, right.
As people.
That would be how you do it.
And then, you keep the money for yourself.
You could just morph into Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. You could, for where I started with, turn to Jeff Bezos, say, hey, I'm going to put $1 million of my dollars in this account. I'm going to sign this document that says never move that money. All right, see ya, I'm Jeff Bezos. I'm going to go into space for, like, the 24 hours that it's going to take.
Ooh, and then you take Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is, like, super, like, chilled out from the acquiring process, and so you just, like, lock him up naked in a closet, and then you take him to space, and then you just leave him there. And then you come back, you demorph Jeff, and then, like, No more Bezos.
Yeah, bye-bye, Bezos.
You could murder anyone by just taking them into space, which is, like, not a big challenge with, like, Andalites and stuff running around.
I think you have better luck just lulling them into a sense of security and then walking them into, like, a swamp or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not... Like, but once you have someone, like, fully charmed personed, then you're kind of set.
How funny will it be once the Andalite fleet, like, figures out that the Yeerks are on Earth, and it's like, you did what with all these morphing powers? Like, the only reason the Animorphs get off, like, scot-free with the Andalites for Elfingor breaking Ciro's kindness is like, okay, well, you fought the Yeerks and you did, like, a really big job, and Axe is vouching for you, and, like, we'd have to be crazy to punish you, and, like, I know we're a crazy Klingon race, but, like, also, I mean, I think you've plenty earned it.
Yeah.
And, like, if you fuck around too much, the Andalites will come back and be like, okay, absolutely not, kill them.
Okay, got it. So doing good is kind of the only thing that helps you out.
No, doing war is the only thing that helps you out.
Oh, like you said, Klingon race, so waging war is what they value.
Yeah, the Andalites are kind of good sometimes. They're very ableist, the Andalites. I mean, they have horse legs, so, you know.
Well, as you described it, the Animorphic power, and, like, you know, it's about healing from being handicapped.
Yeah, and that freaks the Andalites out.
Okay.
No, once you get disabled in some way, like if your tail blade is cut off or something, even if it grows back from the morphing process, like, no, you're disabled forever. You go live in a field somewhere away from the regular people. Andalites are bad sometimes, but the Yeerks are pretty much worse. Very political.
Just like all war.
Black and gray morality.
Yeah. So you side with the grays.
I feel like I would get infested with a Yeerk pretty quickly. Probably around the point where I tried to fuck Visor 3, actually. Either I would die or get infested. Or maybe I could impress him with my blood knightiness. I don't know. I could try.
I think there's certain things that from what it sounds like, he values.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's possible to get in good with him.
Now, spoilers for the end of Animorphs.
Okay.
Alaron gets freed, and Visser 3, the Yeerk, Esplin 9466, who is Visser 1 by that point, ends up, you know, being sentenced by a UN tribunal to live in a box with Kandrona rays, with no sensory input whatsoever, but still living, just in a box in a high-security vault somewhere in Kansas.
They really took the motto of, like, all right, we can't kill anyone, so let's just... Let's do something even worse.
Well, this is the UN.
Yeah.
Like, they definitely 100% kill people. Like, that is not a rule that they don't do that.
I'm not saying that, I'm saying more of the 90s kids fiction.
Yeah. They do have a rule where they don't, like, morphing sentience without consent. Unless it's, like, extremely critical that they do, they don't like doing it.
Okay. That's good. Consent is good.
Yeah, they do compare it a lot to, like, that's exactly the same as what the Yeerks do. And it's like, it's not.
Yeah.
It's like piracy. It's just DNA piracy is what it is.
I'm just doing it for 2 hours, and then when I'm done watching Dune, I'm done.
Yeah, and it's not like... Dune is longer than 2 hours, right?
I'm using a movie example, but yeah.
But, yeah, no, like, you're not possessing them. You're just, like, acquiring their DNA and then becoming their twin for 2 hours, basically. That's not the same as the Yeerks.
Yeah, no, it's a temporary thing versus their permanent takeover.
It could be a breach of consent, and it would be kind of fucked up, but it wouldn't be, like, as bad, certainly.
Yeah, especially if you're doing stuff like, you know, getting them fired from their jobs or shooting their money into space.
Could you do that in 2 hours? Get somebody fired? How would you do it?
Okay. I would go to my boss and say I'm no longer going to work here and leave.
Okay. You know what? That would be the one. That would be the big one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it's too hard.
So, thing I just learned about the Animorphs, looking at the TV tropes page.
Okay.
Axe's father is named Norlin Cyraniel Kuraf.
Kuraf.
Norlin. His name is Norlin. Axe's father is named Norland, and his mom is a saxophone. If Axe ever morphs a pelican, his father will shed a single tear.
Just one.
Just one.
Okay.
From which of the 4 eyes, though, is the real question. I would turn into a bird. I think Tobias kind of has the right idea, for sure. Birds seem cool. I would do bird.
Yeah, you get a lot more. You get the most freedom, I think, as a bird.
Yeah, I'm like a bird. I only fly away.
Do you know where you're going?
I don't know where my home is.
Oh.
I don't know where my soul is. All right, I think we're spinning.
Yeah, let's take the Animorphs to the final rating place.
Yeah. Yeah, I would rehab Visor 3 by like Animorphs ends.
Mm-hmm.
The whole story ends with like the Yeerks are defeated, and a new horror emerges from the edge of space, and it's this giant hive mind that assimilates everything. And so Jake just gives the order to just take the ship that they're in and ram it. It's never implied whether they live or die, and that's how it ends. I would rehab Visor 3 and say, all right, we're fighting the one.
You're fighting the hive mind that appears.
I'm unsealing the sealed evil in a can that is Visor 3. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, okay, let's fucking get his ass.
Yeah, because that sounds like a good, again, if it's in a TV series, not the Animorphs TV series, but it's like the one where they team up is always a great trope. So
whenever that, like, occasionally they have a common enemy, and Visor 3 is like, well, Andalite bandits, it looks like you and I will join forces. You who have vexed me, and me, the greatest person ever. So together we will be an unstoppable force. I'm very excited to shed blood beside you. And the Animorphs are like, dude, you fucking suck. We hate you so much.
Which I think that's what the reaction would be.
Yeah.
Or Jake would say, "Hey, hop on the ship. We're all gonna ram it together, okay? No, you go to the helm. We'll get the thrusters going."
Yeah.
Goes into the escape hatch.
By the end of Animorphs, Cassie is the only Animorph who is unambiguously alive.
Damn. And
yeah.
And is she happy?
I mean, broadly speaking, no, but like, she's married and stuff. She has a life. I believe she has a high-ranking position I think she's Secretary of State.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But anyway, final rating place for the Animorphs.
Final rating place for the Animorphs.
I think just, from what I've learned throughout this episode, thank you, by the way, for telling me the tale of these heroes.
Or the tales.
It sounds like they, as a monster, as an alien force that takes over them and the rules that they have to follow and prescribe to, it's not a good deal, is it?
No, certainly not. Elfingor really should have just gave them a gun.
Yeah, they should have just been Power Rangers.
Here, kids, dome everyone you see.
Yeah,
it's called a shredder.
Yeah, here you go. Take him out. That's what. No more psychic screaming. Just here's a Glock.
Here's a space gun. No, here's a Glock. Here's a regular Earth gun. Kill Visor 3.
Yeah, I think they would solve a lot of their issues and problems. As a monster, I think they're it's standard powers, and there is a lot of deep horror that they encounter. Absolutely. Especially with the reality of like the beasts that they're fighting inside of them and externally, I suppose. So I'm gonna give them maybe like a 6.5.
I am gonna give them a 10 out of 10. This is a formative series for me.
Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes it was dumb. Sometimes the books were ghost written. Sometimes it's like Cassie's alone in Australia. She's got to turn into a kangaroo. And other times it's like, oh my gosh, there's an Atlantis. type thing, and the mermaids are bad guys and they're kidnapping people. We gotta stop them. And sometimes it's like, oh my god, I turned into a shark and they tried to inject a chemical into a shark brain to make it big, and now we're getting rubber bands snapped over to the planet Lyra to fight in the Lyran conflict and attack Visser 1's forces there. And
on prom night of all nights.
No, actually they really don't do, like, the whole, like, balancing school work life.
Which is good, and I respect it for that. I respect it so much for not doing that, I'd like to give it a full 7.
Okay,
yeah.
Tight. But no, they don't do the whole, like, but it's prom night. Like, oh, man, I have homework. Like, no, at a certain point, they just, like, meet this race of, like, alien hologram people. And they're like, hey, can you turn into us and, like, go to school for us so that we don't get expelled, but also so that we have time to fight Yerks? Yeah, sure, that sounds important.
Yeah, I think the Power Rangers should have done a long, long time ago.
Yeah. Man, the Chi really fucked up in the end. I'll let you know that, for sure.
But you were saying that despite them going on these crazy ones, it was a very important series to you, and I respect that.
Yeah, it was formative, it was strong, and it relayed themes that I think were being untouched in that age group of books at that point in time. And I think to the present day, I think it's got a 90s edge that just isn't really in vogue anymore, for better or worse.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think this target demographic nowadays can, like, have anything this dark.
I think it was a fluke the first time, really.
Yeah.
I don't even think I would describe it to a generational thing.
This one time that they flew all these forever hawks into the under the radar.
Yeah, they took a thermal and flew right under the radar. Man, I hope they get that Netflix adaptation.
It seems like it's something rife for that, because I did not see the television series on Nickelodeon.
It did not have any budget.
So you don't see.
Do you remember Time Guys? Basically that.
they misconstrued the promo code with number of dollars that they have to spend. So okay, I think it's a property that's right for a modern day adaptation.
I am so ready for it. It's a unique property, and I can't wait. It will definitely happen.
Well, we're not done with Beasts this month, so tune in next time when we travel to the French countryside and get involved in some shenanigans.
I hate it when you actually, like, tease the next monster, because, like, sometimes we have the next episode planned and other times we don't, and you just, like, I miss those, like, really big swings that you take. Like, tune in next time where we wander far into the desert and dig up a mystery, and then it's like an ocean monster.
You know what? I'm with that. Tune in next time when we travel to the far reaches of space, to a planet that we didn't even discuss this week. And we go under the soil and look microscopically at things that you may have not heard of before, but definitely exists. Maybe.
I'm so glad this episode didn't go for more than 2 hours. Can you imagine if we were just doing it forever?
Oh, yes, we have to. I would not want to be in this mode forever.
It's freaking meal. That's a deep cut.